Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we're going to dive into the energies of Jupiter and Neptune conjunct in Pisces, which will be exact April 12th, 2022, yet the energy really begins to pick up in early March 2022 and carries us through March into April. And I wanted to share with you some of the energies and downloads I've been receiving around this rare conjunction, as well as the significance of it at this time as we're moving further into the Aquarius age and moving out of the Age of Pisces. This conjunction is significant in this energy overlap and in what we're clearing out. So it's important to understand that Pisces is the 12th and final sign of the zodiac. It is completions and endings. It is loss. It is understanding when things are over, where the energy is dissolving and softening before it comes together in a new form. Pisces is where we can also detach and step back to understand a higher perspective or growth, to look at what is ending, what is completing, and what we are being supported in removing from our lives so that we can have the space for what is new to come in. So with this strong focus on Pisces energies, all of these themes are activated and they are very big for us individually and globally. So in your natal chart, you want to locate where you have 23 and 24 degrees of Pisces. This is where the conjunction is occurring with Jupiter and Neptune, where they are exactly conjunct at 23 degrees, 58 minutes of Pisces, and then they move to 24 degrees of Pisces together. This is where the energy is going to be strongly felt, and it's where you want to identify these 2-degree points in your own chart, especially by house placement, as this is where you are experiencing this energy dissolving, softening, transforming, removing, unraveling, but in a way that could actually feel supportive. And we're going to talk about that in today's show, as well as more of the energetics of this energy and how it is supporting us in this overall experience on the planet at this time. It's important to note that both Jupiter and Neptune are the rulers of Pisces. That means they are comfortable in this energy of the third water sign. They are deeply in tune with the Pisces energy field and how Pisces is designed to move through us and around us. Pisces is symbolized by the ocean, of the waves, the movement, how water is a part of our experience, the energy that water holds, and how we're designed to be fluid, to flow, to be open. And this supports our ability to surrender, to be unattached, to practice how we can step away from our own ego desires and what we feel is personal and open up into the bigger spectrum of energies. What's moving through us, what we're feeling and sensing, what's coming through in our intuition, our psychic development, our spiritual growth. These are very big energies. And similar to an ocean, it's a very big wave of energies. So many waves of energy are going to be coming through and picking up in March and April 2022. As we are clearing out so much in our energy fields. And how I'm seeing this energy show up is that, as with all energies, there are choices involved. There are things that you perhaps have been feeling, sensing, contemplating. Perhaps there's parts of your life you have been wanting a transition in. You've been wanting something to be removed and cleared out. This Pisces energy supports us in these completions and endings. It also reveals what we can make new choices around that we want to let go of. What part of your own life or energy are you ready to step away from and move towards a new beginning? Where are you ready to surrender and detach and make some pivotal new decisions for yourself that could feel quite big, significant, even emotional, but they benefit your spiritual growth? This is some of the big energies coming up for us. These are some of the big questions where we're looking at, what am I ready to let go of because it no longer serves me? It's no longer a part of my path. And it opens us up to more of our own spiritual journey, our spiritual growth, and how we can trust what we don't quite see yet. Because the Neptune, Jupiter, Pisces energy can feel quite uncertain. It can feel like there's things coming up that we don't know, we don't see, we don't have understanding for just yet, but that's where we're trusting. That's where we're also feeling something in a significant way, as that energy speaks to us through our intuitive faculties and through our emotional world. So there is an activation here of your crown chakra, your intuition, your spiritual growth. You could also feel this activation connected to your higher heart. And that is the energy of unconditional love, where we have the capacity to hold more compassion, kindness, understanding, and acceptance for not only ourselves, but for others. And this could be one of the ways that the planet is learning to evolve at this time, where we can practice those qualities even amongst all this discord on the planet, even amongst all of the things that people are disagreeing about. We have different opinions, different beliefs, different convictions. The Pisces energy is where we rise up above all of that. We're above the human experience, above our own opinions, or even above this particular timeline. We go higher to see the bigger vantage point and to understand how we can detach in a healthy way without it being something that feels personal or that it feels like it has to hold you back or define you. There can be energies here that you're surrendering in yourself. There could be things that you're no longer wanting to experience within yourself. This could be within your life, within your habits, within things that you're thinking about or processing. There could be things here that you just feel are energetically complete for you. Even if you don't know the next step just yet, you could have a sense of, I just don't have any energy for this thing anymore. Or you could even feel that you're tired of something within yourself. You're tired of a certain habit or loop. You're tired of something in your life that hasn't progressed or moved forward. This is where you can energetically detach, step away, and allow these parts of yourself to be transitioned into a new expression. So of course, this will be different for every single person, but this is what we're looking at here. There's big themes here of completions, removals, and endings because you're spiritually ready. And what I've been feeling about this energy is that it is a Pisces portal, meaning it's a Pisces portal into these other realms that we don't always intentionally connect with unless you have strong Pisces in your chart, strong Neptune, or strong 12th house energies. Those are all the domains of these Pisces archetypes. And what we're learning is that we are above this time and space experience. We're above the physical world experience. We can detach and step away and see things from a different viewpoint. However, there may be parts of ourselves that resist that or that are overly attached or invested. And this is where we see part of our ego show up. We see what matters to us, or we see where our mind goes. We are complex beings. We have a lot of energies and messages that we're working with. We have various parts of ourselves that we're always learning about and moving through. But this strong focus on Pisces energies by two planets that are very strong in Pisces themes means that there's something you're ready to let go of. There's a bigger transition here that you're ready to move through at this time on your journey. Keep in mind that this conjunction between Jupiter and Neptune is a once-in-a-lifetime conjunction, and that's simply because of how the planets are moving through their various orbs and cycles, and how they haven't had this conjunction in Pisces since the mid-19th century. So here we have these energies showing up in this lifetime to help you release something that is no longer needed for your soul's growth. It's no longer needed for where you're going next. It's no longer something that you need to carry or take forward if you so choose. Of course, it always comes down to your free will and your choice and how you choose to work with these Pisces energies, because everything is a spectrum. And so on this spectrum, you can move toward your spiritual path and your soul's growth. You can move into a place of higher trust and also trusting yourself, trusting your intuition, really opening up to more messages and energies that you feel and sense, really moving into a sense of you're supported, you're loved. Things are going to happen for you. The next steps will always appear even if you don't see it right away. Then the lower spectrum of Pisces energies taps into our powerlessness, taps into where we can feel detached like a victim, that we don't know what our choices are. This is where it can be easy to go into blame, self-pity, escapism, addictions. Anything that takes you out of dealing with the real world in a healthy manner can also show up through these Pisces tendencies, which can also be an overwhelmed by everything, all the stimuli, all the choices, lacking clarity and not being tuned in to your internal guidance system. So these Pisces energies have a full spectrum that we can move between and move back and forth with. But this conjunction and these energies in March and April are really bringing our attention to our choices, how we're going to step into more of our spiritual power, our spiritual connections, our ability to be energetic beings who can detach from the physical world in a healthy way, who can detach from our egos as well. And this does take conscious effort and work at times because of how much we are connected to our sense of self. Now, the ego can be a very healthy part of us. It's not the enemy. It's not bad. The ego is what forms our self-identity and our individuality. It's where we can develop confidence in ourselves. And when we have a healthy ego, we're able to move through the world with the sense of self-worth, self-love, self-value, a sense of this is who I am, and I'm free to be myself just as I allow others to be free to be themselves. This ego energy is designed to support us. But what is coming up with the strong Pisces energy is that there has been an unraveling of the egoic energies or parts of ourselves that are expiring, that are complete and done. The parts of ourselves that have served a purpose and been very useful in our lives and in our soul growth. Now there are opportunities to allow this unraveling to be a beautiful gift, to allow it to open up new space and room for the new energies to come forward. But it does require us to be in a void at times, to sit in the discomfort of the unknown, which is usually when our ego or our mind or another part of our energy systems show up and come through and start making judgments or plans or decisions, start to feel really uncomfortable because there are parts of us that want to know what's next. We want to know the answer, the direction, what to do. We want to know the how. And we're learning to trust not knowing. We're learning to open up to even more that we maybe haven't fully embraced before. So the Pisces energy does feel like we're in this foggy place at times, but that's also where you can tap into more of your intuition, your creativity, your artistic nature. This can be a very mystical experience. This can be a part of you that opens up to other realms because it's right on time. It's exactly what you were ready for at this point in your journey in this lifetime. There's something that we're all collectively unraveling and letting go of, and we're clearing out old energies in ourselves that we're ready to say goodbye to. So what I feel around this Pisces portal is that part of what we're clearing out are energies from the age of Pisces. And this is where we always have overlaps in energy fields, where as we're welcoming in the age of Aquarius and we're understanding more of what that means, we're also clearing out the age of Pisces energies. We're really looking at where we've given our power away, where we've felt the victim energy, where we've been detached from spirit, source, our higher self, and where we're going to consciously reprogram that into a higher place of consciousness and self-awareness. So as I mentioned, the Pisces energy has a spectrum. And as we're clearing out these lower Pisces energies, there's things that could come up that show you how much you've grown. You could see where you previously felt detached from your power or overwhelmed by energies. If you identify as an empath and someone who picks up on energetics, you could feel like you're learning boundaries. You're really getting a sense of how to manage your own energy in a more constructive manner. You're understanding where you've had perhaps energy leaks, where energy has just unconsciously gone into other people, situations, or experiences. You could see where your energy hasn't been contained or you haven't been clear on what to do with it. Well, as these age of Pisces energies move out, things come up to show us where you have grown and transitioned, where you've been better at managing your energy systems. Now, I do feel like these energies can bring up not only how far we've come, but also what we're ready to let go of and how we're each deeply changing. We're changing where we give our power outside of ourselves. The age of Pisces really brought up a need to idealize an idol, how we were made to look outside ourselves for worship, how we were taught and programmed that God is outside of us instead of honoring and embracing the God energy within us. So there is an awakening here to your own God self, to the parts of you that maybe have been dormant, depleted, or given away to others. This is where we look at where our energy has gone to others that we believed had more power, including structures, organizations, and belief systems that needed our energy in order to grow and sustain themselves. And that's also why this coincides with what is collapsing and changing on the planet, because we're pulling our energy back into ourselves. We're understanding the power of our own light, the power of our own energy, and how we have a direct connection to God, source, spirit, soul vibrations that never leaves us. And this is where we're calling those energies in and we're learning to honor them within ourselves while also not allowing that to attach to an ego, that we're not overdeveloping a spiritual ego or unconsciously recreating the same karmic loops, patterns, and habits that we're trying to heal. So for example, this is where we're more aware of our own answers, our own connection to our soul's vibration, and our own ability to tap into that without relying on others to do so for us. And that even when we do, we can call the energy back into ourselves and listen to our own knowingness, listen to our own unique energy field, and to trust that. So that's also part of this overlap between the age of Pisces and the age of Aquarius, where the age of Aquarius is bringing us further into our knowingness and how it's okay to be individual energy fields that are still connected to the collective, but to do so in a way that's clearer and more grounded without dispersing ourselves or our energy unnecessarily, without giving ourselves away or martyring ourselves. This also can relate to the energies of persecution, betrayal, rejection, abandonment, all the parts of ourselves that were separated, how we've been separated from source and God energy, how we've been separated from anything that is our truth, our true energy field, and our true divine right as humans. So we have this beautiful overlap here of reclaiming what is your truth while detaching and allowing everything else to be removed or to fall away. So this is, of course, general, and you'll have to look at how this is working with you and how you're moving through this energy, because it is very specific. It's very personal as well, and that will depend on how the energy is showing up in your chart. So again, you're looking at where you have 23 and 24 degrees of Pisces and which house that falls into in your chart. So houses 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in an astrology chart are about your internal world, the parts of yourself that you're understanding and getting to know, more about who you are, what you need, what you want, how you communicate. So houses 1 through 6 are about self-development. Then houses 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 are about the energies outside of you. And so houses 7, 8, and 9 are about relationship interactions, sharing energies and cooperations, while houses 10, 11, 12 are about the world at large. So if you have this point in Pisces in houses 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, you're going to be experiencing this energy from something outside of you. That could be through another person, through something at work, through another energy that you're feeling or sensing. So that's good to note, because then you'll have an idea of how this energy is working with you and how it's showing up. And keep in mind, because this is so personal, you don't know how everyone else is moving through it or what anyone else is experiencing. And this is where we can practice compassion and understanding for what we don't know. What we don't know what other people are going through or moving through, because they keep it private as they should, or they don't want to openly share, or it's something that they're figuring out. There can be many reasons that are very important to keep something private. And in fact, I was just talking with a good friend of mine a week or so ago about what we've been experiencing and moving through. And I know that on this podcast, I don't talk about my personal life very much. That's not what the podcast is about. But I was telling her all of these very big life changes I've been going through that are really hard, and they've been very trying and very difficult, and how there can feel like times when so much is unraveling, so much is coming apart, that you're just hanging on by a thread. And then that thread keeps unraveling too, almost like you're trying to attach or hang on to something, but that also unravels and comes apart. And so there is this unraveling of energies that we're each moving through, and it's working with us in different ways. And I was telling her that, I was hanging on by a thread for a while, and that thread kept unraveling, and I realized I needed to change my perspective on it. Because when something is unraveling, you can feel like you're falling. You can feel like it's overwhelming. What are you going to do? What can your choices be? It's just too much at times. But then part of shifting your perspective is rewriting this, where you say, no, I'm not falling. I'm learning to fly. This is about developing new wings. This is about letting go. And if something is meant to unravel, please take it. I don't need it. I'm not going to overly attach to it. If it needs to unravel, it's for a very specific purpose and reason, even if I don't know that right now. So if you feel like there's a lot unraveling and it's overwhelming, it's too much, it's really hard, shifting your perspective on it can be empowering. And that could be one of the biggest gifts of these Pisces energies, is that you shift it from any place of powerlessness into something that supports you, and remembering that you're supported, remembering that whatever is unfolding or happening that seems out of your control, there's always a divine reason for it and a divine purpose. So just remember that maybe you feel like you're falling, but you can rotate that around and see it as flying. You're developing new wings, you're developing new tools and new ways of working with these transitions that certainly might not be easy at first, but they are supporting you, especially for the long term and especially in your soul's growth. So keep in mind, you never know what someone else is going through. You just don't know. And that is to be honored and respected. And it's also meant to remind you of how we can be kind and compassionate to people, because they're not going to post it on social media. They're not going to tell you outright in a first conversation, right? There's all things that we're moving through. And we look at how the world has changed our lives in the past number of years, how we've all had to adapt. And that is one of the strengths of Pisces. It's our ability to adapt to not only changing circumstances, but our ability to trust when we don't have clarity or have a known answer. So that openness of Pisces, that ability to stay open, can be one of the best gifts here, because then you're allowing new energies to come forward or come in. You're allowing yourself to keep expanding from a place of feeling divinely guided, loved, supported, and with greater trust in spirit. And that's one thing we're also learning here, is to really trust this Pisces energy, to trust Neptune, to trust Jupiter. The Jupiter influence is going to make it easier to let go. It's going to show you what you're ready to be done with and how it could feel really good. It could feel like that graduation point. It could feel like you're turning a corner. And that's because the Jupiter influence is typically uplifting, supportive, positive. It brings in the rewards. And I also feel like there's an energy signature here of divine timing, where we've had to elevate ourselves to a higher energy frequency in order to rise above what we're letting go of. So you could feel like it's easier to move forward or to be done with something because your energy is no longer there. You're no longer connected to that experience, person, or part of yourself because you've outgrown it. You've spiritually grown and energetically grown. You've moved into this new timeline of your soul's growth, and that is allowing you to be complete with even more. And you could already know what this is for yourself. You could already feel and sense what you're ready to let go of. Whatever is coming up for you that you're contemplating, you're sitting with, maybe it feels uncomfortable. Maybe there's something in yourself that you've been going back and forth about because you know that you're ready for the next step, but maybe you're not quite there yet. And that's okay too. This energy is going to flow where you could feel a sense of transitions happening that aren't mental. They aren't from your ego. They aren't telling you a deadline or a specific time period. There could just feel like this ease that comes in, and that's something you can trust. You can trust the ease of transitions. And perhaps you're even able to do a visualization where you're giving something to the ocean. You're surrendering or laying something down in the waves for the ocean to remove, the ocean to take away, and to allow it to move into its next form or its next experience. And I feel these waves will be getting bigger in March and April 2022 as it becomes more apparent to us what we are completing, how we are letting something go, and we're able to trust that whole process of removal and unraveling. You could even ask Spirit to assist you with whatever is complete for your soul's highest and best good. You could be ready to just simply open up to whatever is needing to go because it's no longer a match for your energy or where you're going next. I also feel this energy working with us at a deeper level of our being, as these Age of Pisces energies are meant to clear out and be removed so that we don't take them forward. Specifically the lower vibrations here. That's what I'm really focusing on, because the higher vibrations, the higher energy codes will still travel with us. We will still travel with the energies of compassion, love, acceptance, kindness, the ability to understand how we're each unique energy fields. But what we're letting go of is really important, because there could be lifetimes of patterns that are tied to some of these parts of yourself. There could be things that you're really understanding that you don't want to keep experiencing or regenerating going forward. So simply holding the intention may be a place of power for you. You might feel like you're going to start getting messages and downloads of what you are surrendering and letting go of at this time in your life. And it could feel like you're really ready. And that might even surprise you. You might even be unexpectedly delighted by what you can let go of at this time, even if it wasn't something you considered or thought of before. This energy reminds me of a quote by the late Ram Dass, who is quoted as saying that a feeling of aversion or attachment towards something is your clue that there's work to be done. And these strong Pisces energies bring up where we have attachment and aversion, meaning where we are drawn to something or repelled by it. And so how can you be at a place of honoring and accepting what is? How we practice this level of beingness is important right now, especially when we apply it to all the divisive energies on the planet at this time, where we're looking at all the ways that, again, we have different opinions, convictions, things that we think people should or should not be doing, telling them what's right, telling them what's wrong. This is where we have a lot of separateness on the planet. This is where we're aware of the divisiveness between us and all these other energies, where we can look at the politics of right now or what is going on in the medical world, and we have our stances. And there is an understanding here that you could identify as left wing or right wing. You could say, I'm very much about these liberal principles or this conservative stance or whatever it might be for you, whatever might be coming up for you. But I feel like what we're learning here is that you can identify with particular convictions, ideologies, and perspectives that strongly relate to you in this lifetime. But what I'm seeing here is that whatever you're identifying with, if you are identifying with it, we're rising above that, where you don't have to just be the left wing or the right wing. You can be the whole damn butterfly. You can be the whole damn butterfly. You can be every color. You can embrace what that diversity or what that means for you. Because what I'm seeing with this energy is that part of what this divisiveness is, or the separation energy is that it also can relate to your own soul experiences from previous lifetimes. Where, let's say in this lifetime, someone is very strongly rooted in the values and principles of what we would call left-wing politics. It could be that in a previous lifetime, you were exactly the opposite. You were very much about right-wing politics. You were very much about the other side of the story. And in this lifetime, you're balancing energies. Perhaps that would be a higher perspective to take around the separateness and divisiveness on the planet, is that we're each coming into a bigger perspective of wholeness in our energy fields. And what does it mean to not feel the separation or the divisiveness? Because there's energies here that want to keep humanity divided, that benefit from the separateness and the divisiveness and the continual creation of fighting or war, or these energies of keep them disagreeing with each other. But the Pisces influence brings in a reminder of how we're all connected, of how you can be the whole damn butterfly and not allow one moment in time or one lifetime to separate you from all of your energy. In the higher realms, there aren't these levels of separateness. There aren't these energies of divisiveness in whatever form they are taking in the 3D experience. So this is where we have support to go higher and to look at what you're carrying with you, what you take with you that is still important to you. You value it, you embrace it, but you're not allowing it to be something that separates you from your brothers and sisters on the planet. So this Pisces energy wants us to evolve above the separateness and to practice it and to look at how we are showing up in this world with these higher frequencies and higher levels of acceptance, even when we disagree. And this can be certainly one of the hardest parts of the human experience. All you have to do is look in the history books for all the wars, all the different stances, the divisiveness, all the disagreements, all the ways that we are here to have multiple experiences. But this Pisces portal is opening us up to even more ways of seeing each other, accepting each other, and understanding each other, even when we disagree, even when we're not on the same page. There can be reasons for that you'll never know. There can be things that you'll never understand about someone else that's very personal for them, very personal, again, to their own soul's journey and what they've been through lifetime after lifetime. I see it as there could be individuals who are very adamant, who have very strong, righteous opinions about something in this lifetime. Maybe that's healing something for them in a previous lifetime. Maybe that's bringing them into balance with something they didn't do. in a previous lifetime. Maybe it's essential for them to be very much in a viewpoint or a perspective because that's what they needed to experience in this lifetime for their own soul's growth. And these are the things we don't always know. We don't always understand, right? We just take something at face value. We can look at someone and be like, oh, they're just disagreeing with me. Oh, they don't have all the information. Oh, they don't have all the facts straight. And yet you don't know their full soul's journey. You don't know what they're moving through in the deeper areas of their souls or in their own energetics. So if we can rise above this and understand that we don't know, there's a lot we don't know. And if we can just be accepting of that, peaceful around that, and not continue to engage in excessive divisiveness, that's how we continue to heal and evolve the energies on the planet. And this Pisces portal is going to continue to show us more of how we're doing that, more of how we're rising above, and how we're connecting to each other's humanity, and how we're making that a priority. So again, this looks different for everyone. This is where it's both very individual as well as collective. But what we're moving through here is showing us the parts of our egos and our self-identities that we're ready to surrender. We're ready to make change and let something go. We're allowing the removal to be a beautiful gift. Whatever is leaving, changing, or transitioning for you, if you can see it as being right on time, as being something that you signed up to experience at this point in your life through this rare Jupiter, Neptune, and Pisces conjunction, then you're going to be connected to your power and your light. You're going to be connected to what your soul has intentionally chosen for you to let go of, and you can see this gift or many gifts then come through as a result of trusting. So we're clearing away the energies that are expired. We're allowing ourselves to step away from our ego or where we've had a false ego or an unhealthy ego. We're allowing energies to be gentle and gracious to come in and support us. We're allowing ourselves to understand what it means to simply trust and float, what it means to just be in these flows of energy and know that you're supported in doing so. I also feel like this is where you could have a stronger connection to your spiritual self, your higher self, and your soul's energy. Perhaps to even balance out anything you've been very attached to in the physical world. So this is where we can look at where can I step back from something, let it go, no longer be heavily invested because my energy was out of balance. And now I'm going to bring in more of my own spiritual essence and trust that, knowing that it's right on time and that I'm beautifully supported in doing so. So we have some beautiful opportunities here to look at where our energy has gone outside of us excessively, to where we've been overly attached or invested in a particular outcome or direction or something, where you can step back and open up the energy. And that's what I'm feeling here, is that there are openings of energies that can come through. You might visualize this as an opening in your crown chakra, in your heart chakra. I also feel this energy coming through and really supporting and healing the root chakra, sacral, and solar plexus. And that's because those are the energies that we really tap into for grounding on this planet. But even those energies need a refresh and need to be replenished. So you could have this visualization of a shower of white light coming through all of your chakras and cleaning them out, cleaning out any excessive cords or attachments or expectations, removing anything that has been excessive or overused, helping you to flush out and move through any parts of yourself that you're ready to let go of or surrender. This can be a very beautiful experience of new energies supporting you that maybe you haven't tapped into before. Simply holding the intention of working with the highest forms of Pisces energies will support you here, support you in the unraveling and the removal and the completion, as well as to help you take a bigger perspective viewpoint on what you're changing for your own soul's growth. You could feel energies being removed that you've carried for lifetimes. You could feel that you're stronger in your own energy field, that you're really embracing and loving who you are without having to give something away, without having to sacrifice yourself in any capacity. So look at these parts of yourself, especially if you have strong planets or points in Pisces, because this reprogramming will be working with you more personally, and it will show you more of how you're here to embody the higher forms of Pisces energies in this lifetime. Ultimately, I feel like this Pisces portal is a beautiful gift in our ongoing spiritual growth, and trusting that we're not alone, that we're connected to so many energies and realms that deeply, deeply love us, especially for being here on the planet at this time. I also feel like there's an overlap of new energies coming in that are a better fit. So depending on the type of work you've done, what you've allowed to transition and be removed in your life, this Pisces influence also brings in divine timing. It brings in more of what you're ready to experience next that helps you on your spiritual path, that continues to elevate you going forward and shows you the benefits and rewards of trusting. So there's also things that will be arriving. And just as those ocean waves can take things out, they also bring in the new. They also bring in the new seashells to the seashore. So be on the lookout for what is coming in, especially if you've been trusting, if you've been holding space and sitting in a void, so to speak. If there's energies here that you feel haven't been changing or moving, this flow, this big flow of energy could bring in what you're ready for next. So the energy is always in motion, just as the ocean waves are always in motion, and it's being very clear in how we're ready to receive, how we're ready to trust even more, and how we know that everything is always in a beautiful divine orchestration of energies. As I'm ready to end this particular episode, I'm feeling like there's even more energies coming through for us to work with, embrace, and honor. So I will do a part 2 of this topic next Monday. That will be February 21st. And this is part of our ongoing opening into these higher realms, opening into even more of ourselves, because there will be new downloads. There will be new gifts arriving, and there's even more coming through that supports our next level of growth. But I feel like, of course, it's different for every person, but it's also based on how much you have allowed to change and transition in your life. There's energies here that want us to keep going higher, and they feel very magical, very sparkly. This is where the energies feel very clear, and that there are new manifestations coming through, perhaps even in unexpected ways, but most certainly in divine timing, which is another hallmark of the Pisces energies. So as always, thank you so much for joining me. We will carry on with this topic next Monday, and I hope it's helped open you up to even more of what you'll be experiencing in March and April 2022 as we continue to release and surrender what is expiring, so that we can have some really beautiful new experiences based on higher love, higher compassion, and higher acceptance of this human journey. So I'll be back every Wednesday and Monday for a new podcast episode. Please check out my YouTube channel, where I've also done videos for you on this particular energy. Those might help you with some more insights into what you're experiencing, as well as what is showing up for you, as I hope all of this information helps you connect some dots for yourself and be in more of your power, light, and your next best choices. You can find out more about me over at mollymccord.online. I also post on Instagram pretty regularly, as well as Facebook and YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me. Wishing you a beautiful day ahead, and I'll see you back here soon.